So if you've been following the channel for a while, you probably saw the video where we installed the Air Raid Junior intake on this thing. And if we're being honest, it didn't do anything. It was a super budget friendly intake that's supposed to slightly improve all parameters of the truck, and at the end of the day I didn't notice anything. It didn't give you any sound. Miles per gallon weren't affected at all. I wasn't expecting any performance out of it, but obviously that didn't happen either, so there was really no reason for me to be running it. So I ended up taking it off, selling it, and we've just got the factory intake with a high flow filter in there right now. But pretty much everyone in that video's comments was saying you should have went with S&B, or you should have went with cold air inductions. And so I researched them. Everyone apparently loves the S&B, and it's like, I think, half the cost of the cold air inductions. So I figured we'd give it a shot. Here's our part number. I did end up going with the dry filter. There is a oiled and a dry. Obviously the old one you can clean and reuse, whereas this one, when it gets dirty, you just kind of ditch it. So on their website, they do tell you like one flows whatever percent better than the other one. So similar that it's not gonna matter, and I just don't want to hassle with having to oil it. So it looks like there's quite a bit in here that is separate that we will have to put together. Let me get all this crap out and let's check it out. Here's our full system, and dude, this filter is freaking huge. Like, this thing is massive, and obviously we are going to be gaining from the filter being in a circle, so it's able to draw air all the way around rather than just straight through the bottom of that stock filter. Got our box, our tube, this plug you can put in the bottom. I think we're gonna put the plug in there just so we don't have any hot air coming through, but we'll see if we do that or not, and then y'all can correct me in the comments if you've had good luck with it in or with it out. These are all gonna be our seals that should be on the outside to button that up. These are gonna be on each side of there. Some stickers. I don't know what this board's, oh, that's gonna be the clear lid, plexiglass or plastic or whatever it is. That is going to be for our PVC or whatever it's called. I think that's what it's called. And then, what's this guy? Not really sure. I guess this is probably a mount for the box itself. So, with all that out laying around, before we open it up too much, let me go ahead and pull the factory box out of here. Just push in and lift. Get that off. Same thing here. Push up. Get that off. Same thing over here, a little more tricky because you got to get your finger down in that one. Lift it up. Rotate this. Off she comes. Now we're just going to take our clamps off. Come down here. Thing should finagle its way right out of here. Lift it up out of the way. It's going to look so much better. So now gotta get this factory box out. All right, 8mm, these 4 screws to get these bottom one. That is super annoying. Long extension, or just piece it together like I just did. It's right there next to the AC line, so it is kind of annoying to get to, but you can kind of twist the box. Yes, this is an impact. Yours will have a little red tab. I broke mine, but lift that off of there. You can finagle this under that and come right back up here. Be careful because we are going to have to remove this and reuse that, and we don't want to damage it. Got our high flow filter. Now with this thing, you just got to muscle it out of here. It'll pop free. Ow. And out she comes. You can see all the crap that's in the bottom of there. So here's a good moment just to see exactly where we're going to be drawing air from. So if you leave the bottom one out, it obviously can draw air from through there. And then obviously we're drawing from right here as well, which is exposed as well through there, but it's a lot more contained than right here. Obviously your hot air from your engine can travel right in here and into your intake. So I think we are going to opt to leave that bottom plugged. Like I said, comment down below if you've got yours unplugged and if you've had good experience with it, or vice versa. All right, so I found the instructions. They've got this thing that you can pull up your camera and then it'll pull up the instructions, but I don't even feel like reading through them. So we're just, I mean, it can't be that complicated. So we're just going to do the manly thing, not read the instructions. We got to take this out because the box has to mount down in the bottom of there where the 4 bolts are. All right, so I was able to take 2 push pins out, lift that up, get that bar out of the way. Before we stick this thing in here, we do need to go ahead and put this seal on it. This will seal it to the fender so there's not a gap for hot air to come in. So if you read the instructions or watch somebody else's video, they're probably going to tell you need to remove the coolant reservoir tank in order to get the box in there. Well, I'm about to show you that that is not the case, and you're just going to be wasting your time if you do that. Drop it straight in for the most part. Let's see. Yep, perfect. All right. So you can see where that, y'all probably can see where that is. Our bolt holes do line up in the bottom. And then I might be fixing to install this wrong, but this said this was a filter support, so I'm assuming it bolts in just like this, just straight down to these in the outside two bolts, and the filter is just able to sit on this for support on the end so it doesn't have all that weight because it is a big filter. We're just gonna put the factory bolts back in there, zipper down right here. Very gently, easy back on. Not need to work. Got the 10 mil. Had a stupor moment. It's not a big deal because you don't put it in from the bottom. Put it in from here, so it wasn't really an issue. Now we want to transfer our airflow sensor into the new tube. Like I said, just be careful with this thing because if you drop it, you could very easily kill it. Slide it straight out of there. All right, so we're not going to be reusing our factory screws. You're going to put the pad. There's going to be 4 screws total here, 2 into the box, and then 2 into the sensor itself. And yes, it will fit. These screws are going to be on the outside of it. You'll see there's a little arrow here and a little arrow there on the box. Let's get our Phillips head, screw these in. Probably don't want to do stupid tight because it is plastic. Just real nice and snug. Take our sensor, slide it in. All right, take our 2 new screws, screw them in. Get them nice and snug. Come on, get it in. All right, just like that. We're going to go ahead and ease our monster filter into our intake box. There we go. That worked in. Grab our other coupler. Make sure you put all of your ones on the same side, facing the same way. That way it looks nice and pretty. Get this mounted up on our throttle body. Y'all probably can't see anything but my arm. Apologize. And slip this one on like that, and slip this one on like this. Kind of a steep angle, but I guess it's made like that for a reason. It's all right. Not stupid tight. You do have plastic right there, but you do want it nice and snug. Put this one up. And put this one like that. Alright, so it's going to fit in there just like that. Alright, it's pretty good fit, I reckon. right, let's put our bar back right here and we'll button it up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there we have a fully installed S&B intake. So I was a little confused because there was an extra coupler and clamp. That's apparently for the 6.2. So they send you a 6.2 and a 5.3 because this is universal, but the coupler's different apparently. So, dude, it looks freaking killer. So yes, I am aware I left part of the protective film on the S&B decal. Do not roast me in the comments. Here's a picture. I have already removed it. Need to clean the lid a little bit, but so much freaking better. It's about time to fire this thing up. All right, so I'm not sure how good it sounded because the exhaust is so loud that I couldn't really hear it sitting here revving, but I will say there was some nice pops. The truck usually doesn't do those little pops and stuff, so maybe it's trying to get used to drawing a lot more air. I'm not sure. But as you can tell, we're running out of daylight, so we're gonna go for a quick first drive, and then after a couple of days of driving it, I'll update y'all with how it feels and if there's any noticeable difference. I'm gonna reset my fuel mileage as well. We're currently rocking a solid 14.8 over 217 miles. Reset that, see if we gain anything. It just barely hear. I can hear all the freaking rock chips I'm getting, that's for sure. But I can hear a little bit of a suction. Maybe with that bottom tube out, it might draw a little more air. The throttle response honestly might be better for real though, which I saw that in people's reviews saying that it was noticeably better. And I would probably have, how many rock chips are we gonna get? My Lord. All right, we're gonna run up on it. I don't see any cops. Let's see how she sounds. I'm gonna drive on it for a couple days, really get a feel of it, and then catch back up with y'all. So here we go. I think it really does open up at full throttle. It gives it a nice sound. It's not like this crazy experience where you're gonna hear a ton of air sucking in. It is a closed box filter. We do have the plug in the bottom. Okay, what's the point of that? Like, I get it, like, oh, I romped on it, he was at the red light 2 cars back, but like to swerve, like literally fly up on my bumper, swerve around me, cut right over in front of me. Cool, you have a 2011 5.0 Mustang. Congrats. All right, so I've had the intake on for about 3 days now, so I guess I've got the full experience of what it's gonna be like. So right off the bat, it doesn't produce as, geez, that was a big bump. Doesn't produce as much sound as I thought it would. You can just very faintly hear it, and then I'm just talking about just normal driving. My exhaust is loud, my tires are loud. It is a technically closed box. I've got the plug in the bottom. Comment if I should take that out and try it. I guess it's winter time, so I mean, it shouldn't be sucking in that much hot air. But you can just barely hear it. I will say when you're romping on it, you can definitely hear the engine breathing better. And it might just be the placebo effect, but I feel like even at idle, you can just feel that it's more freely breathing. Overall, I think the truck does drive better. It tends to hold gears better, accelerate a little bit better. Everything seems to be dialed in just a little bit better with this intake. It's not something that's gonna be a huge kick in your butt, like, oh man, that's 20 extra horsepower right there. It's nothing like that, but overall I think the truck does feel a little bit happier being able to pull in a lot more air. All right, so the big thing everyone questions is, does it increase your fuel economy? Because if it does, eventually it will pay for itself, right? Well, y'all know we were averaging 14 something the other day, which in all reality is kind of trash, even though some of y'all say y'all get like 8. I mean, we got 35s, big 24s, very unaerodynamic truck. But we pretty much immediately gained about 1 mile per gallon, just normal driving. And I'm hoping it to go up better than that, like, you know, 2, 3, I'd be really sick. Because that is what some people have claimed. But as far as what my driving, y'all see, I've been romping around a little bit. I've been playing around. So, hopefully once I, you know, chill out, I'm not trying to test out the intake or whatever, it'll, you know, jump a mile per gallon or 2 above just the original one, which then, like you say, will eventually pay for the intake itself, which is awesome. I guess at the end of the day, is it really worth buying the intake? I mean, it's kind of hit or miss. If the MPGs do pan out to be 1 to 3 better, then yes, it is, because it will eventually pay for itself. And then the other benefits of a little bit better throttle response, a little bit of better engine sound, maybe some high RPM horsepower gains. It's one of those things you kind of stack. So you do like a catback exhaust, and then you do a cold air intake, and then you tune them, and then all those wrap together, and then you get the peak, you know, horsepower that you can, rather than it just being stock with just a tune. Obviously, just a tune is your best bang for the buck if you're just wanting to eliminate V4, get better throttle response, actually increase your horsepower and stuff. A tune is going to be the key to the whole thing. But most people stack stuff. So, you know, like I said, exhaust, intake, then tune, then you go back and do headers, do a retune, do an intake manifold, throttle body, you know, all these kind of things, they just build on each other, and so it's just part of it. Cold air intakes are super popular. This one is on the mid-range price-wise. Fit and finish was all pretty good. I mean, I don't really have any complaints about it. It looks a million times better than the factory unit, the big muffler thing, for sure. I guess to wrap the video up, at the end of the day, it comes down to a choice of what you're looking to get out of it. If you're trying to squeak a couple more miles per gallon, then it does look like that's going to pay out. If you're looking to gap a 5.0 Mustang or something with a cold air intake on your Silverado, it's not going to happen. You just know what you're getting into when you go to buy them, and then you'll be happy with your purchase. Don't overhype it and then be upset about it. So I guess that's pretty much it. Hopefully I got some good clips and stuff, and maybe the audio came over well where y'all could actually hear the increased volume and whatnot. But with that being said, definitely comment down below, let me know what you'd like to see next, and if I should pull the plug on the bottom, and if that has a big difference, we'll definitely make a video on it. So with that being said, hopefully you did enjoy. See y'all on the next one.